Queens, presidents, and princes. There's no shortage of important world leaders, but who are the most protected of them all? We're about to find out. But first, leave us your guess in the comments below. Go ahead, we'll wait. In today's episode of Fact Addict, we're counting down the 5 most protected leaders in the world. Number 5. President Donald Trump. Considering 4 sitting presidents have been killed, including Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy, and presidents like Roosevelt and Reagan have been injured in attempted assassinations, it's no wonder the President of the United States is going to be one of the most protected people in the world. Most people know the Secret Service to be the President's main security detail, and while that is true, the black-suited men wearing earpieces are just a tiny part of Trump's security detail. The 2 Air Force One planes Trump uses for air travel are among the most secure aircrafts in the world. Yes, the President's got 2 of them, but perhaps the largest beast is the President's motorcade. Because the President's bomb-proof limousine is usually the focus of potential threats, it is always accompanied by 1 or more decoy limos that are identical right down to the plates. Naturally, the limos are escorted by an array of custom vehicles that vary depending on the task at hand. Oh, and helicopters are also close by. So whenever the President travels, you can imagine that it must take several heavy U.S. Air Force transport planes to move his motorcade to the desired location. When you put all of this together, you get a truly insane level of security. When Trump visited the UK in 2018, he was accompanied by 1,000 members of staff, a full motorcade and helicopters. The whole visit was carefully planned for weeks by the security teams of both countries, and an estimated 150 Secret Service agents arrived in advance to oversee the massive security operation. And believe it or not, this was just for a 2-day informal working visit instead of a proper state visit. Number 4. Queen Elizabeth II. Looking like real-life nutcrackers, the most famous line of the Queen's defense is of course the iconic, tall-hatted Queen's Guard. While they're mostly known for their elaborate marching spectacles and unflinching poker faces, they're actually far from the joke some tourists take them as, and are perfectly able to mess you up if they ever needed to. Her Majesty also has a more conventional security personnel that guards the Buckingham Palace at all hours, but they've been known to nearly shoot the Queen on one of her late-night strolls one time. However, the Royal Protection Squad is who the Queen turns to when she really needs to be kept safe. This squad reportedly consists of up to 185 James Bond-like officers who are responsible for providing around-the-clock security for the Queen, along with the rest of the royal family and London's diplomats. These guys are so effective that some experts speculate they might have been able to prevent Princess Diana's death had she not dismissed the unit's 24-hour surveillance after she divorced Prince Charles. Still, it must be mentioned that a survivor of Diana's fatal crash, security expert Trevor Rees-Jones, was a former RPS member, so who really knows how effective they are? A mixed bag as they may be, there's no doubt the Queen's security forces are one of the most extensive and impressive in the world. Number 3. Kim Jong-Un. North Korea is notorious for its military overkill, and Kim Jong-un's bodyguards sit at the peak of that mountain. While the Secret Service has less than 7,000 employees, North Korea's equivalent has an insane 100,000 members. This elite unit is called the Guard Command and reports directly to Kim Jong-un as his highly trained personal army. The absolute best of the best become honorary members of the dictator's personal protection unit. And no, they're not the bodyguards typically seen running beside Kim's limo when he travels. These guys are a whole other level of Guard Command who blend in the shadows and only make themselves known when it's really necessary. It almost sounds like Kim has real ninjas at his disposal, but with how secretive the country is, who really knows? Number 2. Pope Francis. Just because the Pope has angels on his side doesn't mean he can't use a little extra manpower should the need arise to hurt someone badly. If you thought the Queen's Guard wore goofy outfits, then the Pope's pontifical Swiss Guard will throw you off your chair. But don't let their colorful attire fool you into thinking these guys are all show and no go. The tryout process for the Swiss Guard is a brutal combination of special forces training and education requirements. The few who pass are sworn in by the Pope himself and go on to guard the Vatican and accompany the Pope on his travels. Oh, and don't be fooled by their ceremonial polearms either, because the Swiss Guard actually have one of the most advanced collection of firearms in the world. The Guard is the world's oldest standing military, and by the way, also pretty much the smallest, rarely numbering more than 125 soldiers at a time. But who needs big numbers anyway, when one of your men is worth 20 of Kim Jong-un's, and you've got God on your side? Number 1. President Vladimir Putin. Admit it, somehow you knew this guy was going to be at the top of our list. Russia has all kinds of secretive agencies, but Putin's Federal Protective Service, also known as Putin's people, are assumed to be extremely powerful. But nobody really knows because they are that secretive. There's no substantial public data available about this multi-purpose agency and its operations. And pretty much the only thing known about its current leader, Dmitry Kochnev, is his name. Putin's people are responsible for the safety of the country's political elite, but its ultimate priority is to keep the president himself safe, no matter what the cost is. And they have all the resources they need. The Federal Protection Service controls billions worth of assets, and its people have the right to do pretty much anything, from assorted operational and investigative activities to detaining people, confiscating cars, and searching homes at will. Some would say these guys are the ones running the country, and Putin is all but a face. And that's it for the 5 most protected leaders in the world. Did we forget anyone? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, then you need to check out the 7 most dangerous computer hackers of all time.